G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Old man. As usual, Algared, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fairly well, actually. I'm fairly well. I'm a bit concerned about that new grade market ship, though. It does look like it's using proprietary Hurston technology in some of the weapon systems, and I'm a bit concerned by that.
Yeah, I'm. Yes, I'm not kind of it myself. A little bit more about that later. But again, good morning to everyone, or evening wherever you are in the world. But yeah, it's a bit. We're in that eye of the storm again, July, August.
Yep.
We've still probably got another 6 weeks of this bullshit. But you can kind of see why they dropped a ship like this, where they would have dropped it to. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can see the appeal, right? Because of raise mark. I didn't want to, but anyway, I guess we've been drawn into this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's your fault, but that's fine.
It is my fault. I agree. Old man Hurston's fault. He complained.
I'm a little bit late too, because I had to restart the computer because it was a Windows update, and if I didn't restart it, I've just learned that whenever there's a Windows 8, actually the first thing I'm going to do it, that's what I and I only update like every 4 weeks. Pause. No, not for 1 week. I've learned with the new Windows that they tend to just update. But yeah, it also lags my whole PC when there's an update. So anyway, the bot is up, so also you can get your questions in. We definitely rely on a lot more at when and again, as I usually say at this time period, if you are here, you are one of more hardcore people, because those people have sense and they leave, they go play other games, and do things like that. But we have actually we are not so. We are obsessed, and we are. Yeah, that's fine, Parker. I don't blame you. Why would you want to listen to us prattle on?
Yep.
Right.
No, you're welcome to lurk, and
yeah,
type of stuff.
So besides the basher, we obviously had 4.9 drop, but the patch was essentially gutted, and they've made a, what do you call it, a technical test. I did get in yesterday, and I can confirm that the space whales are in. That's the high note of this patch. That the space whales are in. When you are doing Siege of Horizon, you know how you can kind of go between the platforms. You can look out, and sometimes you can see 2 or 3 of them in the sky doing twirly whirlies. Wow, many creatures, much seen. Yeah. So,
if you can fly over to them.
Well, there's no way to fly over them because it's in that area. You know, those areas that are kind of like marked off, because it flies you off to Origin or Horizon or
Yep.
Siege of Horizon, and it's off somewhere else. So it's off in its own little kind of cornered off area, which is a different area. It takes you in a different direction and all that this time. You go up the tower like you used to, but instead of going off to the left, it goes off to the right and takes you somewhere completely different. So they've almost like
so the wild tours, right?
Yeah, they've kind of moved it around, but I'd also say graphically it's a lot more interesting. There's a lot more smoke and fire. So you know how you used to kind of look out and you could kind of see, oh shit, I got to go like 3Ks all the way over that way. Well, now there's shit happening in that space. It's not just these, and you know, you just kind of like randomly used to get shot out of nowhere. That's not going to happen as much, because again, you're going to be taking your time moving, because there's mortar fire, explosions, snipers, shit like that. So you can tell that they've spiced it up. But there's one major flaw with it right now, as of the test yesterday. Almost every single enemy is naked.
Wow.
So they have no guns. They can't do anything. But you can see where it's going. You can see, well, I can see why it was delayed. Like, if everyone's naked, then, you know. I thought they were making Siege of...
As
Hang
new.
on, Algared. I thought they were making Siege of Origin. Well, they're making the Orgy of Origin. So
Yeah, I was thinking it added new meaning to a nudie run.
Oh, right.
So I was going gamer.
You were going the same
side.
joke, but I'd worked mine out way in advance, and you were cutting me off. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But it's fine. I came up with that yesterday. It's fine.
I was coming at it as a gamer. You were coming at it as I don't know where you're coming from.
Well, they call it the Siege of Origin, so the Orgy of Origin.
Yep.
It's the same acronym. Anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, so the instancing is obviously allowing it to run better. I can see the advantage of instancing in certain areas, right? But everyone's fear, right, is that they're basically going to instance the shit out of everything. And basically the whole idea of object containers goes way of the dodo. And I'm going to be honest, I think the best is to have both. Right? It's just that where you start to use the instancing becomes the problem.
Yeah, I do agree. I think the container system works in terms of server meshing and all the rest of it. It helps in that aspect. It enables more people to be using an area and all the rest. The instancing, if you've got an area that's very intensive and very filled with objects and all the rest of it, that's going to lag a system. If you put that off in an instance, you can actually, I imagine, reduce that impact on the wider world because you're offering an instance. So yeah, I can see the advantage, but as you said, it's how often it's used and where it's used and where it comes in and what role it's playing. So we'll have to just wait and see.
I'm just reading what 805 PG says in YouTube chat. He says, see where it's going, downhill. This time of year always gets doom and gloomy. Let's be honest. It really does. Like if you think back to last year, it did exactly the same thing because there's just no movement. It happens every year. I'm so used to it at this point, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's just how it is. Like, I think a lot of CIG staff take holidays. You know, if you're in the summer and you've got a family, that's when you'd want your time off, June, July. And then the only other time to do it would be like in the middle of winter. Well, I'd prefer summer, wouldn't you, over winter? And so basically, I think they'd get a lot of requests for people to take time off at this time. So everything kind of slows down a little bit. But not only that, the world kind of slows down. And you would agree here, like as Australians, the winter drags like a bitch because the rest of the world is out doing shit. We're inside freezing our ass off. And then basically our summer's the complete inverse. So when you guys are all sitting inside freezing your ass off, we're outside having fun. So it's a juxtaposition for us, right? So we have a unique way of looking at it because we are often on the other end of the stick.
Yeah.
But you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Algared? If you were going to take your holiday, well, you go to work. When do people tend to want to take their holidays? In the warm times or in the cold times? Or
well, probably in the cold times and go through. But as a teacher, how long is holidays? The summer. So when do teachers take their main holidays? Summer.
When the kids do,
You know, so unless you take your long service leave, you don't go midterm or during the short-term breaks because it's just too short. You might need to restart the bot because I have seen a couple of questions come through with the word question and are not showing up in our bot. So
that you're not in the right channel. You're not in STAR-JM.
Right. So we're using Picklebot. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to use as much as I can for them because they're there. I can see.
I was just double checking that. Yep.
Well, check both, you lazy shit. Right. So I did want to go through this a little bit. I think this is going to become a hot button contentious issue very quickly for a lot of people. And it's these new pips. I think this is another sign that we're going the way of the arcadey type of adventure. Not so much flight realism anymore. With all these different kind of pips and stuff. I think the biggest problem for me personally, and I don't know if it's going to be the same for everyone, is I'm not a big fan of the sound effects. I think the sound effects are very, and I'm sure they spend a bit of time on them, but they just feel gimmicky. I'd almost want to turn them off, or have an option to turn them off, and I'm sure they will in time. But if you've listened to anyone play and you just concentrate on the sounds, it sounds a little weird. And I don't know if there's any good way that you can make sounds for pips. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'd rather hear the sounds of the like if I'm hitting a shield, I'd want to hear the shot of whatever the shot is. So if it's a ballistic shot or a laser shot, I'd want that kind of hitting a shield sound. What my brain tells me, right? And then if I'm hitting a hull, I'd want the same thing of it hitting a hull.
Yeah, I'd hope that, you know, if I'm in my ship and you're shooting at me, I'd hear the types that, but certainly when you're hitting the hull, that vibration through the hull of the
yeah.
You know, to like,
I don't need these artificial like, and the first thing I thought of was like some guy at the bar from years ago when I was in Queensland, and it was like tapping an empty Forex can on the bar. That's what it just came straight back to me. It's this real tinny noise, and it's really, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it, but everyone's going to be different, and again, I don't think you're going to please everyone with this type of stuff. But again, it is going more towards that kind of arcadey feel. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Algared? Because I think some people are going to be fine with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I find change hard. That's just me. I've got used to the current system of the pips. I like the current system of the pips. It's not. I find it doesn't go over the top. Whereas just seeing all these variations to me is starting to think, oh, that's more information that's going to be flooding my brain when I've already got the visuals. And so
it's pretty easy it's pretty easy to understand, right? Like you can kind of look at it and go, right, that makes sense. So I don't think you need the audio cues personally. Like, you can look at some of the more complicated ones. Like, you can see there that you've, like the one on the bottom left there, you can see you've hit the shield and penetrated and hit the hull, because it's got blue and white lines. And then you can see you've the one on the far end with the two red lines, you've hit the hull, you've also hit a component, and it's killed it. Right? So you kind of work it all the way through. You can see shield hits, you can see hull hits, you can see like component damage and stuff.
I'm not sure how much of that information as a pilot in a ship I should have.
It's convenient, because if you think about like I can understand the part of it where realistically you probably wouldn't have any of this information, but think about all the times you've seen, like I can think of times in TSG where I've seen people shooting engines that are clearly dead, you know. So to shoot and you get the two red lines, you go, oh, I can move on to the next one. I see why they've done it, right? It's just a really simple way to pass the information on to someone. But realistically, there's no way that would happen. Like, again, you should have someone scanners going, that engine is dead, move on to the next.
Yeah, I suppose, but it feels.
Yeah.
I think that to me is the type of thing that makes it go gamey.
Yeah.
It's like those, you know, those little phone games where you shoot the component, or the old arcade video games where you go up against the boss and it's got different parts and you have to, you know, bam, shoot that thing until it blows up and it, you know, goes off and the part blows off and you see it blow off, and then then you pick the next one and it's glowing red, and each of them, you know, it does feel a lot more like that, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but hey, that's me.
Two good comments there in Twitch chat. So first time chatter, Ruckus says, Ruckus the Red says, we don't need sound for the pips. The UI is enough. I tend to agree.
Yeah.
But then I also agree with Dafty Digit, who says, or limit the sound to crits. That also makes sense. So, again, as long as they give us those player choice in the option, I think it's okay. But I do think these pips make a lot of sense. If like they're not too complicated. Yeah. So yeah, the only one that's really different at all from a shape perspective is the shield's hit but not penetrated. So everything, and that even kind of makes sense. It kind of shows you that it didn't get through. Makes me think: is a hull hit going to be the straight lines too? Because that's not there either. They've only got a hull damage. They don't. So as soon as you hit a hull, you instantly damage it. It doesn't actually have a hit, but not yet. See what I mean? So there's some confusion there too in a little bit of how they're laid. Yeah, but with Caesar Horizon being pulled out, like we've obviously got these flyby sounds now, and the discipline centers redrop. I haven't had a chance to get in game and check these out, but and these things were left to linger for a long time. Like how long ago did we hear of distribution centers? A few years ago, and they've never really been functional. There's a lot of systems like that in game where they've just been put in and they don't work.
And then not
the next patch.
Yeah. But if the distribution centers work, if they work for missions, if they have like just delivery missions and other stuff, that works great. If they work for having combat missions down in the depths of them or other areas of them, great. You could, once you've got distribution centers, you could do Siege of Houston and have one of their distribution centers under attack. Go save it, or ArcCorp or Microtech. You can take that style of mission and transport it to a distribution center. Because when you think of it, that's really what's happening at Orison. Orison itself's not under attack. It's just one of the far-flung outposty type parts of Orison.
Orison is the most valuable resource, though, in Stanton. You know why that is?
Central.
The shipyards.
Yeah, that's why I said shipyards.
Oh, I thought you said it was central. Right, I heard
shipyards and central.
Oh, right. Yeah, but that is why. Yeah, look, I'm getting to the point. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm probably going to do an episode on this sooner or later, where I think CIG have been given a lot of freedom to do things, right? And I think it's time that they put on their big boy pants and start integrating all this shit together. Because creative freedom is amazing, right? It's really cool when you have creative freedom. But I'm starting to get the feeling, right, that there's no restraints at all. And when I've been under creative pressure, Algared, and you can talk about this too because you're a teacher, right? So you've obviously seen, even in art class, right? You have a restriction of time, right? And those pressures, right? You need a bit of pressure to come up with the best ideas, all right? And so when you've got unlimited resources, unlimited restraint, you've got no pressure, right? Even food's the same. You put in a pressure cooker, it cooks better. You know what I mean? It infuses the flavor, right? So what I'm getting at is they need a little bit of pressure at CIG. And I think if they had a bit of pressure on them, there'd be better results. And everyone has a time of pressure in their life, right? And I think the biggest one will come down to almost any business would be money, wouldn't you? At the end of the day.
Yeah, look, I think there certainly does need to be that you do what function better if there's pressure. I wouldn't say there's no pressure, but it's
how do you think how do you think they got pressure? Please explain. Elaborate. Enlighten me.
Well, we know they got the pressure of Squadron, so we know that the goal is to get Squadron out this year.
Yep, true. But we're talking about two separate games here. We're talking about Star Citizen and Squadron.
But when we look at the PU, I think that's a bit harder because for a long time the PU is, and I think that's the problem the PU has. It's in a holding pattern while they're heads down, butts up, getting Squadron out. And so I think it's hard to to get that kind of down. You know, I'm pretty, you know, I'm sure they've got everyone back at the office trying to busting their guts, trying to get everything done. But how do you get, and how much of the systems in this and the systems that aren't integrated properly are tied to Squadron, and how many are just waiting for just someone who is currently on Squadron to be able to get to it and do it? But there is an element where, yeah, you do want them fixed, and you'd hope.
Well, let's go the other way then, right? If this had been under a traditional publisher model, how long ago do you think we would have got Squadron?
Oh, they'd have been pushing it out the door broken 2 years ago.
I more like a decade ago, right?
Well, no, look, so you look at a game like most games, they go, you know,
yeah, the point
3 or 4 years development behind doors.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to get to, right, is you want creative freedom, but it has to also have restraint, because you can see the two juxtapositions, right? You can see the one where, like you just said, it comes out uncooked and they patch it all the way along and it's a piece of shit and it never sells properly and all that type of shit, right? And we've seen that time and time again, because that's money people. That's all money people give a shit about. But by the same token, you go the other way and you have unlimited constraints and unlimited freedoms. All you do is keep creating things and you don't get things done. And I'm worried now that that's where CIG is. Because, and again, just to use an example, distribution centers. The whole remember the visuals we got of all these underground things, and they were going to do. Yep. They also talked about buildings and stuff like that. None of that's really, like, I know they've gone back and they're trying to do it here, but not like, it just feels like a lot of the things they talk about don't come to pass. So my whole point is they need a form of direction, right? And I'm hoping Richard Pyro, once he gets off Squadron, he starts moving the ship in a direction.
Like, if you think of the missions, like the one, you know, the one to find the ASR missions or the ADC missions or whatever they were called, you know, they're effectively at a distribution center. The problem is that they are almost instanced and they're separate, and unless you've got the mission, they're closed off and you can't really get there. But the distribution centers are more open, and so you do have that juxtaposition of two types of two areas that are basically the same thing. Some have missions and some don't. I would like to see the distribution centers properly functioning. I'd like to see the types of things that just make them feel real. Ships going from microtech to a distribution center, just delivering cargo, whether it's NPC or player. It's NPC, that opens that flight between distribution center and microtech. Then opens the ground for piracy. It opens the ground for escort missions for those ships.
I can see why they're not going to do that.
Even just on that type of thing.
Yeah, I can see why they're not going to do that, though, because it's AI related and a lot of AI stuff's going to go in at the end. So yeah, I can see where you're going. Yeah.
So they're the types of things I'd like to see.
Kind of where I'm going here, right, is in a traditional publisher model, the publisher is the one that does the restraints, or it's financial, right? So if we copy that over to Star Citizen, right, financial is one, then who plays the publisher in this role?
Robert Space Industries.
No. That's us. That's the community. We're the one funding it, right? And then it's,
in that sense, yes.
It's not until we kind of stand up and start complaining do I think a lot of shit is going to get done. And I think if you stand up and complain, the first people that are going to stand up and complain are going to be content creators, and they're going to get tall poppy syndromed. They're going to get knocked down, right? So it's actually going to take the community as a group to stand. And I don't know how long that's going to take, right? But at some point, we're going to go, enough is enough, and it's going to it'll stand up and things will change. But it's like I said, like there's an episode me and Paul did a couple of weeks back when we did the Tooler review. We went off on this tangenty rant. I don't know if you've had. I did suggest you go watch it, but I know you've been busy. but I do want to do a full episode on it because I think it's really important. And it was about game rules, right? And in that discussion, I kind of realized, talking with Paul, was that this is a game that doesn't even follow its own rules. So is it even a game? And I've been really stewing on this the last couple of weeks, where I really think they need to start following their own rules. They need to put restrictions on themselves, and not only will it make the game better, right, but it will also make, by having those restrictions on themselves, it'll start the creative thing happening. Now, I think for a long time we've talked, and I know what you're going to say. Well, what I imagine you're going to, they've left a lot of stuff open deliberately so they can change things, right? But I think it's time, after Squadron is out, to start the restrictions, start following their own law, start following their own shit, right? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the turning point, and I'm happy to give them that time to get to there. But I want to see this change, and to go, once Squadron's out the door, I want to see those rules coming in. I want to see those restrictions start to come in.
And I think that's where, if it doesn't, like I was going to say, if it doesn't happen after Squadron, I'd say within a year, then you're going to find that the community's going to talk. We're going to walk.
Yeah. I get that feeling too, because we've gone through this whole torture test of Squadron, and it's really time to put Star Citizen in the forefront. And I don't see people giving you money to make episode 2 and 3 before some big moves on Star Citizen happens, right? Because again, if they expect us to start funding Squadron episode 2, like this is the thing I keep visualizing in my head, like in any other kind of, and I can understand why people call this thing a scam, right? Is essentially they're funding Squadron, but we're buying Star Citizen. So you're waiting for them to make this, but you paid for this, and that's really weird. In any other, I don't know what they call that, but like it's not fraud or anything. I'm trying to think of the word for it, but you know what I mean? Like nowhere does it say when you buy a ship, not that I can see anyway. Maybe there is somewhere, but you're paying for Star Citizen, but we're using that money on Squadron.
Yep.
It's a little weird.
For me, and maybe for a lot of older backers, for me certainly, I got into this game for Squadron. My support, my backing is based on Squadron. My gameplay in the PU is based on, this is the Squadron universe. It's everything leads to Squadron. Yeah. So in a sense, certainly back in the day, it was said, basically when you're buying ships, you're funding development of Squadron, and the PU is a result that comes out of it.
Yeah. As
development of the game went, and as funding went, I do think there was a shift. There was a shift that went from Squadron as a game and the PU is the afterthought, to the PU being the main thing, with Squadron almost being the afterthought, even though it was always the preeminent thing.
Yeah.
But so even though I think the community and the way it was pushed and marketed in some ways was the PU is the main thing, I think that there's a certain level in CIG where it's always been Squadron is the main thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think that's part of the problem we've got. We've got people who see the PU as the main thing, the absolute be all and end all, and yet,
well, it's perception, isn't it? It's how it's been marketed, and again, that's another issue of how it's been marketed. And I think it's probably time you start working on what people pay for a little bit. And again, you can look at it both ways. You can look at it, well, I want Squadron, I want Star Citizen. Right now we've got Squadron. Give us the other part of it. And I think once you get work on to a certain level, Squadron being out the door, a lot of pressure is going to go off. But if you can get 1.0, I think a lot of pressure will go off too. So,
and I got to say, look, while I signed on for Squadron, I'm also here for the PU.
Yeah.
You know, I do want both.
Hmm.
And so there is that catch-22. Yeah, it's a hard
Yeah.
thing to get the balance between. And there's our patch note. Oh, there's our
This is the roadmap.
certainly our roadmap stuff. Yeah.
There's not a lot in here, obviously, because it's
No, it looked pretty empty.
But basically, they've split in two. That's about it. What did that thing I was talking about down here? Yeah, this is the only kind of cool thing. Is this? It's that type of sniper rifle outfit. So it's kind of like this elegant wood with like a high technological metal. So it's that juxtaposition I was talking about. But yeah, everything else is just stuff from 4.9.
The look has a very Western.
It's
old cowboy.
It reminds me of I think his name was McCree in Overwatch. It reminds me of him a little bit. Just that future cowboy type thing is what I'd call it.
I could see very much. Yeah. Well, I was thinking future cowboy. I was thinking Serenity.
Oh yeah, yep. I'll give you that too.
You know, so but yeah, it is that very Cowboys in Space type. Yeah, the lever action type.
Yeah, so 4.10 is basically just becoming the Siege of Origin patch with a few extras. It's almost like they split it in two. But it's coming next month. It's not coming in 2 months. So it realistically being split is okay because we're getting it in between. So it's not going to delay everything.
It's a 4.95, not 410, but hey.
He uses a shotgun port. That's okay. Pete says Arnie uses a weapon like this in Terminator 2. That is a sniper rifle. Arnie uses a pump-action shotgun. A pump-action shotgun does have wood and metal, but that's about where the similarities end. Yeah. Good to see you, Pete. Glad you're drunk. Right. How else am I meant to take that? Lever action shotgun. Yeah, but that's not a. Is that a shotgun? I thought it was a sniper. Wait.
That could be a top one. Could be a shotgun.
It's a lever action long rifle that blends classic craftsman and modern functions. No, I read it as a sniper rifle, so I was. It's not a shotgun. It's a rifle.
It's a normal everyday lever action rifle, but it's not a shotgun either.
All right, I'm gonna have to have a shave. I've been meaning to have a shave all week.
You said you were going to shave last week.
I did. I've just been a lazy fuck. I meant to make these appointments to get ultrasounds and an X-ray, and I still haven't done that either. Lazy fuck.
Yeah, the old Winchester model.
But
not a shotgun.
Look, it's so cold down here, Algared. I don't even want to go take a piss if I can fucking help it because the bathroom's that cold, right?
Look, I'll be honest. Given it's cold, I can understand why you do not wish to shave.
Yeah, it's
because you will freeze.
Yeah, it's freezing down here, below zero, bro. You know, welcome to the party, pal. You know, like
that's why he's wearing a hat.
Yeah, Algared's going, oh, it's so fucking cold. Yeah, well, that's to be honest, because I usually I got the beanie here, Algared, but I usually just walk around with a hood on all day, and I have this beanie on, cover my ears.
He's a hood. He's a hood.
But I'm okay because I got the headphones on, so it's fine. Yeah, and usually the heater's on full bore, but I can't do that because the whirly sounds in the background. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And glad to see that our nerds are coming out of their cupboards in Twitch.
Right. I was going to say, how do you name something, right? And I was like, well, it's the Basher, right? So that's why I call it the Big Birthday Bash. It's not Algared on my birthday. The only other title I could come up with off the cuff was Algared got bashed. And I knew that would flare a few people up. So I avoided that one. No one would care if I got bashed. So I couldn't make it that. So I just went with Big Birthday Bash, and all these people saying Happy Birthday. I don't know whose birthday it is, but they're just saying Happy Birthday.
Well, you know, so, it is our 1000th and first episode.
Well, I guess that kind of covers it too.
You know, so we are officially in the millennium of Inforunners, whereas the second millennium. Does that make us millennials?
I am a millennial by 1 year. I'm the last of them. Or the first of the millennium. Yeah, it's just harder to name things, especially when you're in a
a slump period.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm having the opposite problem. How to stay creative when everything's stagnant. Anyway, right. And I think the only other thing to go over, is the basher itself. Now we're obviously going to do a buyer's guide. But knowing our audience, Algared, I'll just put it this way. Tell me in chat what Algared and I think of this. And I guarantee you that there are people that'll know. They don't even need us to say anymore. You guys I was saying to Algared before the show, I was saying the problem with this game taking so long is basically you've now got a hyper-educated audience. Right? We don't need to teach you things anymore. You know for yourself. You're all informed. You are all... You don't need me and Algared to tell you what we think anymore. You can make it up for yourself because you've been educated. 10 years of this shit. You know it when you see it. You know? Yeah. And it's exactly what it is. But this is a weird fighter, right? And I can actually give you my consensus on this ship very simply. It is the ship that bridges snubs to light fighters. That's what it is. It is so close to being, and they even talk about it themselves, is how tiny this ship is in the video there, really, right? And that was the first time for me before I even got in it and flew it around. But once you start flying it and you realize how weak it is, you start to go, oh, this has got flavors of the Arrow and flavors of the Merlin and the Archimedes. And
well, they even say it in their blurb. It's a Buccaneer. Buccaneer engine, Buccaneer cockpit.
They can call it a Buccaneer, but it's not a Buccaneer because, again, a Buccaneer is now classed as a medium fighter, by the way.
Yep. They're saying it's got the Buccaneer cockpit and stuff.
Yeah.
They're saying it's got the Aurora and Gladius.
They can say what they fucking like. What it actually is can be completely different too, and you know that.
Yeah. I'm just saying and that type of conversation is just the look.
Yeah.
The look of a ship.
Well, I think it's the look of the ship that causes the main issue for me, and that's the price, right? When you work out where the ship sits, all right, so if it's a bridge between a snub and a light fighter, the cheapest light fighter currently is the Arrow at $75. The final price of this is going to be $110, which is the same as the Alpha Wolf, right? And this ain't no Alpha Wolf.
Which is a light fighter.
Yeah,
it's a light fighter.
Yeah, but I would argue that that's at the top end of light fighters. This is at the bottom, right? And when you work that through, if the Arrow is 70, this should be less than that. And realistically, it's more towards a snub, and snubs are $55. So you can see where I'm going here pretty quickly. It's somewhere between $55 to $75, which probably makes it $65.
It's certainly not 100.
It is literally double the price it should be, in my personal opinion.
But I can see, and for me, they're doing exactly what they've always done. It's over. It's Drake. It's the old Drake packaging model down to a T. It's heavily gunned, and so its armor and rest is crap.
Yes, that is the difference between it and a snub. Yes, it does have a quantum drive, right? But again, let's go back and look at I was about to say look at the meat pie. I don't know why I was going to call it the meat pie, but the Pitbull.
Look in the meat in the pie.
No. It's just I wanted to call that ship the meat pie. I'm not a fan of the Pitbull. I don't know why. Anyway, but if you look at the Pitbull, it's basically 6 size 1s. This is all size 2s.
6 size 2s.
Oh, sorry. So it's 2 size 2s and 4 size 1s. So if you just upgrade 4 of the guns from size 1s to size 2s, you essentially are very similar. And add a jump drive, you're at this ship, right? So you try and tell me how that justifies double the price, or more than double the price, from $55 to $110.
Yeah,
it just doesn't add up, right? And the most I can get to is $70, which makes this thing like $50. What is it? $40 overpriced. And that $40 is the way it looks. And that's how they've got to stop pricing shit on the way it looks. Because again, as I mentioned, you have an educated audience now. You made it this way because you took so long.
Look,
And that's
for the
without even
longest
going.
time,
And obviously, I can go into all the details, but that's where I'm at.
for the longest time, CIG said we're pricing shit based on what they do.
Hmm.
If you're pricing it based on how it looks, then you're no longer pricing on what it does. And and that's a problem. Like for me, I can see it's we've given it the price because it's got 6 size 2s,
Yeah.
two ballistics and 4 laser repeaters. Now, does that make? I can see that having the benefit of being able to take out shields and do damage to the ship itself, because you've got Gatlings and you've got the lasers. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to talk about the positives of this thing when we do the review. The one thing I'll say is it does have a cool gangster feel because they've turned a lot of the guns sideways. So when you do have those attrition-looking guns on it, it does look like it fires more and stuff, and it again leads into the turning a gun sideways like a gangster. Clean Yeah was saying crane tax, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yep.
The whole crane thing, like making it so it's the iron sight, is a clever way to go, ooh, this is why they use it that way. But the other thing is you also have a digital crosshair on screen, so it completely makes it superfluous. Realistically, what is that crane for? It's a silhouette. And we saw, if you go back and look at the video, and I don't have the video here, obviously, because I'm a fucking idiot, but you know the one we were looking at last week, Algared, from the leaked video? It is that shit, because you can see this part of the crane, the back part of the crane, in the shot from behind.
Yeah, it gives you that. It gives you, I'm looking at a basher.
It's the silhouette. Yeah, it's exactly. It has such a unique silhouette, and because it's such a small ship, by putting something so drastic on it, you instantly can look at it and go, that's a basher.
Yep.
That's a basher. That I know what I'm up against now. But if you take it off, as in player choice, it should hide a little bit. So I think you're going to find when you see these in game, most people are going to take them off.
But you do get the impression, even from the blurb. I was just looking at the blurb for the ship again just before show, and it's I go, oh, it looks like everything Buccaneer, blah 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 blah, all held together with literal rope. Now, if that's not saying it's unarmored or has little protection, I don't know what is. If that's not saying it's got armor plating like a paper bag, I don't know what
I'm going to be honest with you. I think with the big heavy plates on it, it maybe should be considered more armored, but we'll have to wait and see what time tells.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Mega Tiger Ninja says, I like they made the crane optional. Well, the reason they made the crane optional is that's going to be the thing that they sell you, is different crane options, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to the one that has a giant telegraph pole on it that can pick up the local TV station, or whatever else they.
No, that's useless because you don't have a TV. So,
but you know what I mean, right? They're gonna have other things that connect to it across the top, much like the Shiv kits that went around the outside. They'll have kits. I can see.
They'll have kits of this.
Well, if you look at it, you can see the greeble areas. You've probably got along the engines there because they've both got spikes on the engines, and then where I am here with these 2 harpoons and the crane, 3 spots just like on the Shiv.
Yep.
Kind of what I expect. Yeah. Again, I think the only other last thing I'll add, try not to save some stuff for the bias guide, is if this is a light fighter and the ship was a heavy fighter, then the Mustang looking thing is going to be the medium. So whenever that arrives, maybe 12 months from now or whenever, because it's almost been 12 months since the Shiv. Remember that was in October. So we're only a couple of months after that. So I think you're going to be looking at 12 to 10 months again for the next one. Work it all through. Got to be that you got the Mustang one and the Aurora left. I just get, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got a sneaking suspicion the old Aurora would kind of feel like it's a bit that they'd want to leave that on the cutting room floor a little bit. Could be wrong. But my brain goes to the Mustang one.
I could see them using the old Aurora because it's a new body of a ship, but it means they're not losing, use of that assets and that artwork they've done in the past. They've kind of got the framework.
You can take
That's just me.
You can take it both ways, so we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah.
But again, knowing that the Buccaneer, the Hornet, and the Mustang are part of that other one, I can see it being a medium ship now. So let's wait and see.
Yeah.
And it's mainly because the Hornet are the wings and stuff like that. So when you look at that and you know the Hornet's also a medium, the Buccaneer's a medium, the Mustang is not, but 2 out of 3 type of thing. I reckon that's what we're going to get is a low end medium, much like this is a low end light fighter and the Shiv is a low end heavy fighter. You get where you can see it, right? Because they've all kind of been bridging the gaps between the one underneath them and the one that they're sitting on.
Yeah. I can see what they've tried to go for in the look. They are really pushing that jalopy style, and yet
don't call it a jalopy. It is not a jalopy. It is officially Junker now, like I've been saying. And who agrees with me? Ben, John, and the entire ship team. He tried to get him to say jalopy. It's not a jalopy. It's a Junker.
No,
and I was right, and you were wrong. That's not just...
They've put it into that for junkyard type stuff. It's the stuff that's been put together by a junkyard.
I don't say that a lot, but jalopy is just the worst term, and I'm so glad that they called him on it because it's a shit term. It's a Junker style. It's exactly what it is. It's always been called Star Wars Junker style ever since I've been a kid. So get around to make it jalopy. You know why I don't like jalopy? Because they all stated why they don't like jalopy, and you can say if you like it or don't. But I don't like jalopy because it sounds like sloppy. It's just that simple. And this is not sloppy. Junker.
No, it's not. It's junk. Yeah. It looks like junk.
Yeah.
Which means,
but it's intentional junker. Jalopy is just like, it is what it is. It wasn't made, it's kind of dilapidated. It's something that's dilapidated and gone to slop. Slapped. Yeah. This is intentionally made that way.
Intentionally put the pieces together, finding bits to go, adding them on. So not my art style. It would dirty my landing pad, make a mess of my ships inside. The rust falling off.
So Pete says it's a jalopy, but it's way funnier not letting Jared get the satisfaction because he's so lovable. No, I just think he's wrong. I've always thought he's wrong in jalopy versus Junker. I just don't think it is a jalopy. And that's my personal thing. This is a Junker. This is Star Wars Junker all over, right? This has got Boba Fett. I'm going to butcher the guy's name. Watto, what was it? Watto, the flying guy that was in episode 1. Watto, it's got all that Junker, the pod racing, all that type of shit. You can't look at this and not tell me that it's got a pod racer feel. Those 2 engines look like they've been ripped straight off a pod racer, and the Shiv, I can see the same thing, right? And by the same token, I look at Kruger and I can see the Naboo. I can look at this and see Tatooine, like 100%.
Yep. Yeah, people saying it's a rat rod.
Yeah.
But
And I would argue that that's why they're going to be popular, because in our head we have the Naboo and we have the pod racing. I tell you, you know how you make a bunch of money, Algared? Go right now.
Make it appeal to the...
No. Real simple. I'll also make it clear because you're guessing, and I know you're going to get it wrong. Is you essentially make a bike by these guys that's a pod racer. Done. Give me my money. It's just that simple,
Yeah, go ahead. Where are their pod racers than these guys? But you make a pod racer, given that we've got racing, you. And if you make a pod racer, it should be a very cheap ship, which means you'll sell a crap ton.
You probably can't do the engine connection, like the lightning thing, because that'll be the thing that I'll try to nail you for. But if you literally just had 2 engines and it's like it's pulling it's on a cabled cart or something like that, I think you'd be fine, right?
But you do a pod racer, you do a Grey's Market pod racer type thing. Yeah, I could see, especially it's small and it's cheap. You'll make bank because people will buy it.
Take one of these
And if it's cheap,
engines.
people might buy too.
Just take one of these engines and literally put a saddle on it.
Well, that's great. That's a drag racer.
But still, that's a little bit like what it goes a little bit like the one in Force Awakens. Have you seen the one she drives in Force Awakens? She just has this giant engine thing that she sits on, and it's like a junker bike from that. So again,
but you mentioned something that really isn't canon.
That's a really, I know it's not canon, but I'm just giving you, it's still in Star Wars. Clean says rocket chariots. Yeah, if you did called it the chariot, and it was literally just like pulled on wheels, but then it had hovering engines, that'd be perfect. So somewhere between the ground bike and a hover bike, and that would fit these guys too, because it's low tech.
Could you imagine?
So your engines are literally like hovering, and they're high tech, and then that works. It's a hybrid, Algared. Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah, but could you imagine being in the capsule, being dragged on wheels by the engines over the rocks and stuff?
Exactly. You've only got to get there, not in one piece, Algared. That's the appeal.
You would be jelly. You would be jelly.
The seat, there's a seat on the chariot, and it's just a giant spring with a seat on it.
That's right. That's to absorb all the pressure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's a completely
you need a seatbelt, because if you're not seatbelted in, you're going to be twing.
Yeah, the seat stays stationary, and the wheels are going up and down a million miles an hour. But it's fine. It'd be really funny if it was done right. You know what I mean? Like that'd be good. Oh yeah.
You would certainly need a seatbelt before you were ejected, just by the motion going over the rocks. But yes, very very cartoonesque it would be.
I think the last thing I'll add, and it's just a very minor thing, because I know you're not a skins guy, but you know I am. I was a little disappointed. I'm gonna have to click this download button to get this to open in a bigger view. But you can see there, this was the best skin on the ship, right? But see how it's all mismatched? It doesn't line up. It's like it hasn't been unwrapped properly or something. So whoever did this, it's shit. I'll just say it. I'll say it what it is. It is shit. This one now becomes the best one because this one's been left behind. This one's just another rust one like the other rust ones. So, 3 of the skins are just different levels of rust. There's only a couple of ways you can do rust. So the Nightmare one becomes the best one. But I'm just kind of disappointed by whoever unwrapped that one, because it basically, like you can see, it's all disjointed. And if you see this, if I was to pull up the one on the Shiv, actually I probably can do that.
Yeah, I got to admit, I did like the rust look, and that is the chairman skin as well.
Yeah. Well, as I said, there are 3 of them.
But I did like the rust look. A junker ship should look rusty.
We go big. See how it's all kind of together?
Yep.
And it's like a pattern, and then you come over here, and it's all over the place. It's not a pattern.
Yes and no.
No, if you can't see it, Algared, it means you don't have that creative flair. But this has been designed for this ship. This has been ad hoc onto this ship. It's just not laid out in the same way, and it just loses the whole reason for the look of it. And if you've seen these, because there's tattoos like this in real life, right, of flowers and stuff, and that's what they were going for. And it looks really good on the ship, but it looks that one.
It's not my favorite skin, but that's okay. But
no, everyone's got different taste. Everyone's got different.
Yes, they even recycle their paint. That's right.
Yeah, exactly what they do. Well, and they also try to keep manufacturer related too. So I'd expect to see this on the other ships coming forward. Basher and Shiv. So the Thumper. They need to come up with a funny name for the new one before he even gets here, because again, they're pretty.
The Thumper has great big rabbit ears, and
well, again, they're naming them like they're 5-year-olds or invalids. Like Basher.
Yeah,
well, the Shiv made sense because it was a makeshift prison weapon, right? It made sense. But Basher is just
caveman. Me live in streams.
Yeah, it's named by a caveman.
Me dumb.
Yeah. The IQ points dropped sharply while we're away in the last 12 months. So
Yeah, so there you go. Gray's marker on the fringe are just cavemen. They're Neanderthals.
So yeah.
Yeah, I like the I do like the nightmare skin. That's pretty nice.
Oh,
But the rust skin.
It just becomes the natural pick because it's the only one that's not rust. And what I mean by that is the default is a light rust. It's the lightest rusted, and then you have the corroded one, which is the if you buy the ship, you war bond, you get it with it. And then you've got that one in the background, which is the most rusted, which is I believe that's the razor red or something. What the fuck is it called? Hang on, I got a name here. The blue blossom's the flower one, called razor burn. Yeah, and because the rose blossoms dropped off, it just naturally means that the nightmare is the only one that's really different from any of them. So it naturally floats to the top. Actually, no, I'm wrong. The corrosive is the conscious paint.
I was going to say it's a corroded with the
What's the? Oh, so the razor one's just on its own then. Oh, okay. There you go.
It was a corroded one that I looked at and I thought, well, that looks good in that pack. I was just going, oh yeah.
They have given us a batch to give away, and I was tempted to give it away today, but we need to review it, so I can't give it away.
Yep.
So
no, we'll give it away with the review.
Yes, I'm going to give it away with the review, but we'll probably give it away on stream next week. And so if you hear, I'll chuck in one of the. If you hear when we give it away and you win, I'll chuck in one of the skins as usual.
Yep, that's our usual thing. If you're here when we draw it, you get a skin. If you're not, you just get the ship.
I was tempted to turn it into a shiv and just.
Well, that could be an option you do instead of a skin, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. So,
depending how generous we feel.
One of the paints has a tinted cockpit glass. Really?
Ooh, that could be tempting.
Which one is that?
That's got to be the concierge, surely.
Have a look. Can't really tell, to be honest with you.
Can't really zoom in.
Oh, that one. Nightmare's got a different color. Yeah, it's Nightmare. You can see it clear, and it's kind of yellow. So yeah, that instantly puts Nightmare on top again. Anyway, can you give away now? We forgive it. No, I can't give it away now because we've got to review it. If I don't have the ship to fly to review, how can I do it? And I have done that before, where I've in my forgetfulness, and I've gone, dude, I just realized I can't give it to you now because we need to review it this weekend, and I've had to stay in contact with the guy for 2 or 3 days, so it just makes it difficult. So we'll just do it next week.
Just to let them know we weren't reneging on.
Yep. And then I've actually done other ones where I've given away too early and then forgot I had to review it.
Thanks, Spike, but no.
I've done that as well.
Spike, I'll call it out for you.
Yeah, thanks.
But no, and I will say I will not have this.
Forgot about that. We can talk about that too. I knew there was a reason I put this in the background. Yeah, so giving it away again because obviously you can see what's in the background. Was this patch bundle? Talk about this for a second because this was.
Oh yes,
this was weird. In my book. I'll just do this again. Me and I were talking before the show, and I knew he was going to think the same as me. It's not the suit, it's not the gun, it's the ship.
No.
Now, my first thought went, why isn't this an 85X? My first thought. But then Algared made a better one, and because he correctly also said there was another option. Yeah.
And I went, why isn't it a P72?
Yeah. So you have multiple options to put into luxury here, right? This is another. This is following the rules of their own game type of thing. There's a theme here that is clearly become evident to me. They don't know their own game. Or they do and they don't give a fuck, right? Because that is not a luxury vehicle.
No,
it doesn't have
piece of.
Yeah. Again, if you use an 85X, you've still got the jump drive. You can still go places. You could actually do this mission. There's no way Attack is going to send you down in that suit from their mothership. No. No matter which way you connect the dots, they don't connect properly, right? Or again, if you had the Archimedes, you just come out of the Phoenix, you can see where Algared's going with what he's saying. I agree with him. But again, I still think eventually the 85X is the ship I would have used.
Yeah, but then you know if you're looking at using a snub,
yeah,
we've only got one luxury snub, P72. It was a luxury snub. It was built for that.
Yeah, I would argue the 85X is a luxury snub. I think there's a few people.
Well,
I can see Pete getting ready to fight you. I can just say that right now. He's going to be in chat for 5 minutes to beat you. That's going to be the birthday bash. Pete's going to beat live Inforunners 2026. Pete
is happy to come in. Pete is happy to come in and talk why the 85X is a luxury snub. They both are.
Yeah.
Even before they built the P72, even before they built the 85X, the P72 was the luxury ship the luxury snub that came with the Phoenix, which was their luxury ship, and the 85X was the luxury snub that came with the 890 jump. They're both luxury snubs originally in concept, but when they built the 85X, they gave out a jump drive and everything else and upgraded to a proper ship. But they were both originally built as snubs, as luxury snubs. You're right, 100%.
Pete made a comment and I can't unsee it now. Do you want to hear it? Well, you don't want it. Don't read it if you don't want it. That's what you said.
If I don't want to be ruined.
He said it looks like one of the 3 amigos. He's totally right. You put a fucking sombrero on that guy and it.
Hey, amigo!
They were high on pina coladas and dancing in the rain at CIG. I can see it now.
And he's right. Yeah. And he's right. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. It's like the lifts in the MSR. Once you see it, you never unsee it.
That would have been a great thing, though. Like if they'd leaned into the Mexican holiday and put a sombrero. Like
I needed 3.
Sombrero in game would have been amazing.
In which case, they needed 3 suits.
Yeah,
with the sombrero.
And pina coladas that you could buy at some event. That'd be an easy way to take real world events and put them in game too. Just put the food in game.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And yes, Sandgraper, 85X for the top 4. Yes, we agree.
Yep. Again, we if you watch the tier list episode, we talked about that in that. That's the one. Well, again, it's the last one to get done, and then we can all get on to planning about what is a shit show and how they don't run it properly again, and where the hell's our free skin for the PTC, PTV.
Now, Cole still says they could add the ammunition belt and the moustache. I'm assuming he's meaning the crossover belt, but that's not.
That would have been nice to have too. An ammo belt, like just a cosmetic, would have been
cool. But again, that wouldn't be a 3 Amigo suit. That'd be the Bandito, the 3 Amigo fight type suit.
Yeah, but it would have gone with the Mexican theme, and you probably could have picked a different gun too. So they're obviously not going for the Mexican theme, but.
No, they're going for a John Wick type style, I think.
But apparently this is the start of, what do you call it? Starcloth. This stuff coming in, the multiple layers of clothing and shit like that. Yeah. Again, we've got a lot of things just sitting in the wind again. How long have we been hearing about Starcloth? 5 years?
Forever. Longer? You'll remember the cloth tech they had went to...
We've been hearing about tech that takes longer than most games. It's becoming this recurring theme. And then we have tech that we hear about, and then the names changed. Or whatever, right? Or did it just drop off? Or has it been forgotten? Or did that person leave the company? These are all questions I start to ask.
Yep. It should be roll 13 said Starware. Not Starcloth, but Starware should be the name they use. I agree. Yeah, not just the cloth. It's
a little late to the party, but Syndril says, Gray, this is the first time chatter on Twitch, Gray's market for the players who find Drake interplanetary designs too elegant, sophisticated, and classic.
Look, I'd agree with that. I'd agree that's the market. They've done that. They've upgraded. Drake have gone from that style that Greys are doing, and they've been elevated to a point where they wanted something to be in that low, that bottom end bracket, and that's what Greys are. And so everything that used to be said about Drake is, I think, true of greys.
Just remembered a joke I came up with today that I forgot. But you want to hear it or not?
Yep, you can let it fly. I'll probably go.
It's not going to be funny now. It's not going to be.
Yeah.
Because I let it go. But real simple. It was like, well, they called this the basher. They shouldn't have called it the basher. They should have called it tinnitus. It doesn't land when you don't have the meaning and the feel behind it. But if I'd done that at the right time, again, comedy is all about timing. Remember that. It would have been, that was back when we were talking about the name. That would have been funny, but yeah. But again, leading into the whole disease thing, I think that would have been, tinnitus.
Yep. Now let's say
the rusty nail.
Says
that's kind of a hint to that. Maybe they call the next one tinnitus, and just say it's French or something like that, and some people would believe it. It's French for rust. What is French for rust? What is French for rust?
You were doing a your play.
Roulier. Wait, how's it sound?
Roulier.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a dirty old French man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I prefer tinnitus. Still people it's French for rust. The rust. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, all right. We got any questions? This could be a really short stream. Oh, we've actually got a few.
No, we seem to have a few.
Got a few. That's good. All right. Let it rip.
All right. So we got our first question from this morning is from Chris San, who says, "Do you think the crane and harpoons on the Basher could do more than just be an aesthetic addition?"
I think they're cosmetic. That they've tried to make it meaningful, being like a crosshair, but it's superfluous.
Yeah, if you got a computer crosshair, you don't need it.
The only advantage, right? And I did try to think about this quite extensively, is if you had some form of EMP attack. No, but when you get EMP attacked, your whole ship becomes dysfunctional anyway, right? Now, unless there was a function where the Basher could literally turn off its electronics and go full analog.
Yep.
That would be a massive advantage.
I could say
undetectable. Like it's full stealth at that point, is it not?
You've got to use your
ballistics.
Well, you get your heat emissions from your engines. That'd be about it. But,
as I said, you'd have to use full ballistics because they're more analog. You can't use lasers because they're energy equipped. But can you go a full analog loadout on the Basher? And that, believe it or not, would actually justify its fucking price tag.
Yeah,
because it makes it unique. But was that in the marketing details? Was that actually sold to us that way? No, because that would be clever.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I could see them doing stuff where it's not aesthetic, but it does have a purpose. Like the harpoons and the crane, it's for hunting.
It's Moby Dick.
Whales and hooking them up and pulling them back. Yeah, it's Moby Dick. It's a little whaling. It's a whaling longboat.
What's that song from The Simpsons? I've got it in my head, but I can't think of the name. We go with my harpoon.
On a fishing hut.
I can't remember how it goes, but yeah, there's a Simpsons harpoon thing. Anyway. Yeah, well, maybe again they could have tried to sell it with a space whale included or something. Then that would have been a clever way to say it. Harpoon day.
Yeah, I'm hunting space whales. Yep. With the harpoons and then you hook on with the crane and you literally have to attach the crane to the whale and pull it back. Yeah.
National Lampoon's Vacation, but reword it to be National Harpoon's Vacation or something like that.
Yep.
No, I think quite honestly, those pieces are as I pulled it out before. Like I'll go back to it right here now.
Yeah.
I was on the wrong page. Hang
on. But I think you're right. I think they're just
you can see the cosmetic areas. So these ones will swap to something else. The crane will swap, and I reckon it's going to be these spike pieces on the engine, but I could be wrong.
Yep.
So again, you could completely change the engines on this ship. You could completely change these harpoons and the crane. They seem to be, and I'm just going by 3 areas because there was 3 areas on the ship: the front sides, the back sides, and the other part. What the fuck was that? It was 3. I can't remember what it is on the ship. Actually, I have to go. Where is the ship here? It was these parts here.
Yep.
And it was a part on the engine, and I think it was the wing. So it was the wing, the engine, and this front part on the ship. Actually, I could probably
the parts that were available.
Do they still have it on the website, or have they been removed?
I think they were on the website. I haven't looked at the ship for a while.
I know it was $36 for the bundle when it came.
Yep.
Good luck finding anything on this website after it's not on the front page, by the way. It'll be under gear. It'll be digital gear.
Hmm.
No, maybe it's not gear. Not gear. Got to be ships add-ons then?
Add-ons maybe.
All ships, all products, paints, digital gear, physical add-ons. There you go. There it is. It's the same price. That hasn't gone up in price.
The engines.
Yeah, see the front part, the wing area, and fuck, it's the last part. That's really weird. I thought front end. Yeah, it is. It is the outside engine. Because this one's got a giant blade, this one's got like a shell on it, and this one's got like a rib thing on it. So it's the outer engine and the wing and the thing at the front. So I was right. I wasn't entirely insane. I thought I was, but I'm not. Anyway. Anything you want to add, or do you want to go to the next question?
No, that sounds like going on to the next question time.
That is a question I do have too. Does the cosmetics add to the hitbox?
Yeah.
So if you've got that giant crane on top, you get hit easier.
Does it add? Yeah.
It's something I thought about. Because I think it should. I really think it should.
It should. Bigger of a ship. Just like an MMO.
But then again, do they also provide little stat bonuses like 5% speed or 5% turning or something like that? And it doesn't have to be anything drastic. Just something small. You know?
Yep.
5% armor.
Yep, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more agility, so you can avoid it being hit.
And that is inherently the problem, as Cold Steel points out, because then it becomes pay to win, because you are getting a benefit. And I think if you do get a benefit like that, it's something that should never be sold. That's why I firmly believe they're only cosmetic. Anyway,
that's why you hope they're only cosmetics.
They've never stated it does anything to the flight mechanics.
Oh. But I always hope that they would change the dynamics of a ship in terms of.
Well, maybe later when they add
it.
When they add it in game, then they could also add the stat bonuses, and then no longer sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they might do that. But yeah, it's but I can remember many MMOs I've played. I've taken deliberately built. If I'm doing PvP, I've deliberately built a character that's small, because small character, small hit.
Yep. And there's other games I've played. Algared, Darktide, as an example.
Yep.
Not just do you have a big hitbox, but if you make a really tall character, you actually have trouble picking things up off the ground, because you've got to look directly down at it perfectly. So a lot of people deliberately create. They don't go to the full height for that very reason. Anyway.
Yep. So, but you would hope that those disadvantages or advantages actually have other consequences as well.
Well, it's almost like they haven't QA tested their own game in the form of Darktide. You think that you would have allowed for you if you were trying to pick stuff up, you would deliberately make the tallest character and then design it around the tallest character, but no, they didn't do that.
No, of course not. Citizen Ninja has a question for us. They say, will Gray's Market ever make a ship combining Origin, Kruger, and Crusader parts? or are they going to keep producing more ghetto shanty junkers that look like a pile of what could generally be called salvage?
It's
I'd
very
like to see them using salvage
it's
based on where they are.
it's very obvious now that they've made Grey's Market to convert over the ships from Squadron that were junkers. But in the future, I think they would very much deliberately come back and make more. You
Yeah.
would agree with that, Ag?
I think they'll make more. I think what I'd like to see them doing is using parts of the ships that were the most popular in terms of sales. Because theoretically, if CIGF sold the most of the Cutlass, theoretically that means there's more Cutlasses in the verse. So they're the ones that you're going to see more of those wrecked. Whereas there's only 10 Wolves in the world, for example. You wouldn't find that many parts of a Wolf out there. But if it's a very popular ship, you'll find parts of it. And so I'd expect to see Grey's Market using those because if they're out there, because they're the types of things that appear in a junkyard. But if it's a rare ship, you wouldn't see it. Wolf was a popular ship, so if it's among the top selling ships, you'd expect to see it in a Grey's Market ship. That's kind of where my mind would go. But
I think sorry, I'm thinking about two things because I'm reading chat at the same time. All right, next question. Sorry, I don't want to change the topic.
No, Cinder said the Basher is a tiny, but $100.
That's what I just read, and I was trying not to reply to it. And then you instantly went back into it and changed the subject again.
Oh, I didn't know you'd read it. I didn't know you'd read it.
Of course I'm ahead of you. I'm always ahead of you. I'm multitasking like a motherfucker.
But look, I agree. And yeah.
Anyway. I'm going to get you to read the questions because my brain is going everywhere. Yeah, long story short, look, if you want to get around the meta, buy one at credit. Then when it goes past and through the meta, just melt it. There you go.
Yep.
You know, before
you want to get around the meta, buy.
Before Algared and I had content creator status, so to speak, and we were given the ships to kind of review and look at and give away, which is really useful. That's the main reason we wanted them. We didn't want them to give away. We just wanted to have access so we could review them. Is that we would
either buy credit
pile of cash there that was credit, and we would just like I think I got like $750 or something like in credit just sitting there, and I'll buy a ship, and then I'll use it and then melt it again, and that's what we used to do. And I guarantee you, anyone not in the creator program, that's exactly what they're doing. They're just buying it as soon as it drops. They're reviewing the shit out of it and then melting it. And I suggest you do the same thing. You've been here for 10 years. You're not idiots. You guys are informed. Just buy the bash for credit, fly it around until it gets shit, and then melt it.
And if you've got an LTI token sitting in your account and you want one, or even if you think you want one,
then melt it and
buy
go back.
a CCU to it.
Well, I was going to say, if you're really sure you then want the ship, melt it and then go back and buy it with LTI. Yeah. You got a month.
Yeah. You know, but I'd, buy it with credit, then buy it with real money if you really want, or buy a CCU to it with credit and apply it to a.
He's totally derailed us again. Right? This news people. Put him on the ban list. This guy. What's his name? Sindred. Ban list, man. Fucking derail us like a motherfucker, this bastard. I'm just going to blame him. I don't know.
It's all his fault. It's all his fault.
Pink text. Could be a boy, girl. I don't know. Syndril. Sounds like a girl's name. Anyway.
Syndril.
Yeah. One of those satanic sorceress people.
Chrisan. Chrisan says, does instancing take away from immersion? This is going back to our discussion earlier.
No, not really. Because I think instancing should always be used in an area that only those people can get into. Right? So in a way, if you think about the Siege of Origin the first time, when you didn't have instancing, you'd come in, a lot of the shit would be dead, and you'd kind of up behind someone, and it's like, well, do we fight them or do we leave them?
Yep.
Right? And I can see instancing works there, because then you can have a more tailored environment. You can have so this instance is designed for 4 people to kind of go through and take half an hour or whatever. You get 4 people, you go through, you have your one-off experience. It's like a dungeon. You treat it like a dungeon. It works. And I could even see that in a space scenario as well, Algared. You rock in your Connie with you and your 3 mates. You get where I'm going here, right? It's a space dungeon. right? So I think in certain areas it works, but others, yes,
It doesn't.
if it was used in the wrong place, it would feel completely immersion breaking.
And here's a kind of the argument. For instance, you'd rock up to Siege of Origin, and the NPCs that have been killed ages ago have respawned, but it's dead everywhere, and you're just kind of in areas where there's no NPCs and there are NPCs, and it's just and then you're running into the players who are already ahead of you. Whereas it enables you to tailor that event for the party that's doing it.
I'm going to read Pete's question. I read it, but that changes itself into another chop. Long story short, Pete, you could also look at it as they don't know how to balance, and so they're retro balancing. Yeah, so there's two ways it makes sense. Anyway, next question.
Next question is from Citizen Ninja. Foundation Festival next week? Question mark. It usually would have started by now.
Yeah, so you can go out with your friends and pretend to be noobs and get all the gear. Yeah, that's how it works, right, Algared? You just, I need help. Help me so you can get free gear. I don't think we have many new players. To be honest, Foundation Festival should be in September. It should be around the Ship Showdown. Because you do get a lot of new people rocking up around September. Remember last year, it was their biggest influx of people that they'd ever had on a free fly.
Yep.
And what was the month before? The Foundation Festival. Wouldn't it have made sense to just move the Foundation Festival back 1 month and have them perfectly line up with each other? And I'm hoping that's what they've done. But Foundation Festival is technically in August. It's not in July. So my personal opinion is drop it back a month and put it in September and have it around the Ship Showdown, the Foundation Festival.
Yep.
Just makes sense to me. Sorry, indigestion.
Yep. I was just double checking what it was, but no, in law it's just a festival created by the Imperator. With a goal of strengthening community participation. So, yeah, just add it to when you're having a free fly, and the biggest free fly, to encourage players to be supporting and helping new players get into the game.
Was that beeping your side or my 100%. Side?
Sorry?
Beeps. I heard beeps. Was that you or me?
No, it's probably my side.
It was like someone turned a heater on or something. Anyway, I thought my heater turned on.
Microwave, I believe. Hang on.
You're getting free food. Oh, wait, there's a waitress there. That's not. I'll have a Big Mac, French fries, and a Coke, please. To go. Yeah. Well, he's putting his order in. This is not fair. Where's my waitress? Look, I'm thinking of John right now. John's girlfriend Diane waits on him like hands and foot. Where's my waitress? Anyway, wish you well, John. Hope you're doing well. Not sweating too much in the UK. Anyway, if you're listening.
No, that should fix it.
I can answer that one right now if that's an insult. The next Tinfoil Hat episode is when they release the preview images, the silhouettes. They never didn't do any silhouettes, and we backtracked that. That was because of Lando. Lando didn't want one.
Yep.
He didn't want one, so they never made one.
Yep. That's what we were told.
And think about all the free content they got out of that. We literally were talking about that almost 12 months later. That's how much content they got out of that. And the blue one, because there are still ships in that blue one that we haven't got, by the way. Where's the Auxilia?
Yep.
Shit like that. So where's the MFC? We don't have that either. Stuff like that. So there's still ones in that we don't have. But one of the best pieces of content they make for long-term backers, that like you guys watching and ourselves, because it just allows us to speculate and have a bit of fun.
Well, I think it gives a lot more content for any new people who are coming, because it gives them that sense of these are the types of ships that are coming. These are the silhouette of the ships that are coming, and it gives that sense of what is it, and so it just builds that. It builds that hype. It builds a hype for the ships.
Yep. And think about all the channels that speculate. I know Trispone was more mad than you and I were about it. Trispone, Grim, ourselves, and many others.
I reckon now that we're not doing concepts of ships, or doing concept sales, but doing the window actually builds more hype for the ships coming forward. And so you're throwing money off the table.
I almost feel like we could do a developer silhouette video. And so it's just the outline of the developer. Like, give them
Who's
shit.
the developer?
Yeah, you don't make silhouette videos, so we'll make one and just get.
We'll make one.
Give shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do know when we talked about it, when like there was a lot of other people that were disappointed too in the community that we didn't have one, because it's fun to dream. That's why we speculate. We're not speculating because like we're weirdos or anything. We're speculating because we are, but we dare to dream. You know.
Yeah. And part of that stuff that came with being people who looked for Star Citizen. Like that was, you remember the video that was made by a community member, the Dare to Dream type video. That really did pick up the what we as community members were looking forward to or hoping for.
John is there. Good to see you, John. Say hello to the slave for me. I mean, Diane. Shit. Look, I'll tell you right now. If
I'm glad to see you again, mate.
They're not doing a Citizen Con this year. Well, then all you need to do is a ship silhouette video. That's all you got to do. That'll make up for there not being one last year. And I guarantee you, those ship silhouette videos probably get more length or pre-press, so to speak, than any other single thing you do.
And I think it adds to the hype for the ship when it comes out.
Yeah. And if you know how a video like that is made, Pete, you can back me up on this because Pete does 3D stuff. Making a video like that, you could do that thing in a day. Not even that, right? You're essentially taking models you have, and if you look at the yellow one that they did, it was a single camera pan, stopping and going. So it was all done in a single scene. So all they've done is drop all the 10 ships in and done that. And then the other scenes were a video as well, where it panned across, and then they just had people and models in the background, so they upped the quality a little bit. But fundamentally, it's the same video. It's just a camera that moves along from ship to ship to ship. And again, I'd ask Pete to back me on that, but that's not something that takes that long to do. You're essentially animating a camera, and you've got all the ships. If you've ever seen Grim do the kit bashing stuff, it's essentially importing the ships, lining them up, and then having a camera that's on a rail that moves and stops, moves and stops, and moves and stops.
Yeah.
Take you less than. It'll take more time to render that than it would just set it up.
Wakefield, no, it wasn't because I didn't make one because I didn't have the ships there for it. But I didn't make one because Disco didn't want to make one.
That's basically. Yeah, that's basically it. Pissball Pete. It was white with no shaders. They already had the models. It's an hour's worth of work, not including rendering. That's exactly what I was trying to say. He just said it better.
Yeah, the very first one was just that page, wasn't it?
Algared, John's gone blind. He says you look well.
Oh, I feel well. So
who's feeling you?
Don't be rude. You are rude. He's so bad.
That's what they call me. So bad. Anyway.
That's why you can't have nice things.
That's true. How many? Ooh, we don't have a lot of questions left. We only got like 3 or 4 questions.
No, I went through the Nightbot and wiped out the Nightbots, and I went, oh, we don't have many questions.
Well, yeah, don't make them thumbs up. Make them like the no ones or something, because otherwise it gets confusing. So no, I'd make them the the no ones that we do. The no. Yep. Wait, hang on. Is there an actual? He probably doesn't. Oh no, we do have access to that one. There we go. Look, I got access to it. But you've got to unthumb your stuff. There you go. I got that no origin one. Use that one if you've got it. You got access to that one or not?
What?
Down the bottom. Look at the two I used down the bottom. The no origin one. You see it?
Oh,
yeah. Use something like that, because then it just says no. The color red says no to my brain. Yeah, but if you've got another red one, use that. But yeah, you do you, man. It's just the thumb ones makes it confusing, because then
Yeah, I got to do when I do them all ahead. It does make it a bit difficult to find.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done them all ahead. But I have asked Pickles for access to delete stuff, and he said he added it to the bot. But what you'll notice is it's only deleting the Twitter bot ones. It's not deleting not the Twitch bot ones, not the YouTube bot ones. So that's something else we'll have to go through him with.
Yeah,
he's away at the moment, but when he gets back, he'll fix it. But you know how he goes away for a couple of months at a time. So
yep.
But no one else is testing it.
All
so
right, Parker has a question for us.
Go ahead.
Actually, sorry. Yes, Parker has a question for us. Parker's question is, do you think CIG have gotten better or worse at ship categorizing since your talk with John and Ben?
Have they got better? You got to remember, we were talking about the Ironclad, and the Ironclad only came out 2 months ago. So it is a very slow process developing the ships.
And they, when we were talking about is there a Corvette for Drake, and John basically said the Ironclad, and his point was that was when he was asked that question, it was because the Ironclad was already in development. They'd already done it. They'd not made it, but they'd concepted it already. It was kind of in the wings.
And my response to that, which he gave me a very funny look, was how can it be a Corvette when the Polaris is a Corvette and it's a completely different size class? And he looked at me like a stunned mullet.
He did.
They need to start following their own rules. At some point, we have to start holding them accountable to their own rules.
So there's and the question is then, like, how much of the stuff had they already kind of had planned or put into process at some point? And can they change? Can they change the wording, or who knows? So I don't know.
Because currently the Polaris is a Corvette, but so is the Hammerhead, the Nautilus, the Perseus. Technically, the Odyssey would be one too, because it's the same size as the Polaris. So you're getting this Corvette size that actually crosses 2 size categories, and that no worky for my brainy. That's not how What does that mean? That they are capital ships, but they got the less armor? So it's what makes them a Corvette is essentially the question I have then.
Yeah.
How can they possibly be a Corvette when they're in completely different size classes? And up until this point, size has really dictated what the ship's called.
The ship was.
Right? So the only thing I can think of is armor, right? That's the only thing we don't know enough about. But again, they've never elaborated on this. They've never told us. So my brain goes, it's not that. They just don't know.
Yep. Yeah. I could see them doing what the manufacturer got, and then just building ships based on what they think that manufacturer needs and calling them what they like within the manufacturer. But that's confusing.
Yeah.
It works within the manufacturer, but once you start going outside, it's so you do almost need that overarching classification system.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's.
Again, I'll give them until Squadron's out the door, and then I want to see them start following their own rules, because time to start making a game. Right.
A custom Christensen says.
Don't say that one 5 times fast. What the fuck?
Custom Christensen.
Who the fuck is that one?
Right above your last red dot one, or your first red dot one. One I just had. The last thumbs up from me.
Oh, Carsten Krog Christensen. Fuck, it actually is Carsten Krog. What fucking tongue tie thing are you trying to fucking say? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Carsten Krog Christensen.
You didn't miss a whole bunch of questions though. You know that, right? Shinobi Trip, Alpzilla. This is why you don't pre-tick shit. It makes it really hard to track.
And
lesson learned.
Okay, I'll skip Carsten Christensen's question.
But lesson learned, yes. Don't pre-tick shit.
Yeah, I'd already learned that. I was trying to unpick it.
Today I learned.
Rude, rude. That's what I'll say. Rude.
Hey, I don't get often to pull up a teacher, but if I'm going to get a chance to pull up a teacher, I'm going to fucking pull up a teacher. My mum is a fucking teacher, and I pull her up every fucking chance I
Tell me all
get.
the time.
Because do you know what? Do you know who the worst fucking teachers are? Fucking teachers. They are fucking really bad. They are so hard to teach anything because they think they know how to teach and they don't know fucking shit. And you need to, you know what teachers need to learn? There are multiple ways to fucking teach.
There are multiple ways to learn.
You know how the Aboriginals teach?
Tell me.
By doing. They don't even say anything. They just fucking do it, and you've got to watch and learn from watching.
Look,
that's how they
there
teach.
Are different ways. People learn in different ways, and you can see it in gaming.
Exactly.
Are you a gamer who just loads up the game and starts playing, or do you read the report?
Well, again, it comes down like we've always said, player choice. You want to have multiple control options so people can do the way things they want. Everyone's brain works differently. Exactly, and that's one thing I found that teachers, they like to teach a certain way because that's how they learned. But that's not the best way to learn. The best way to learn is in every way you can.
To do.
There's another fucking tangent for you.
A task. Yeah, we're good at tangenting.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Let's see. So, I had the question. Chris San says, is CIG disconnected from a community, and is there anyone at the helm at CIG for Star Citizen exclusively?
Well, fuck, I need to read that question. Is CIG disconnected from the community, and is there anyone at the helm for CIG Star Citizen exclusively? As in the community exclusively? Is that?
No, I think there's two questions there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Are they disconnected from us, from the community?
Well, you can't get everyone's beat. Like, there's probably over 1 million of us by. How do you?
Yeah.
You know, the community team is fairly small. They catch the big flare-ups, but they can't catch everything.
Yeah, and I think part of it is, what's the old saying? You can please some of the people some of the time, and all of the people none of the time. That type of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, there are sometimes I do think they're disconnected because they assume everyone uses Spectrum when we all know nobody uses. Right, because it's just a cesspool.
Again, well, the vocal cesspool minority use Spectrum.
I think Spectrum is used a lot by new people until they realise that no one goes there. Yep. I think it's a lot of new people coming in and venting their frustrations there, and that's why it's such a cesspool. But again, it'll continue to be that. I'm not going to go on my rant about downvoting arrows, but until you have that, it's never going to be. So, if they want it to be the one-stop shop, then it needs to be a one-stop shop. It's got to. You got to be able to say, "No." What's the best way to say something nasty, anonymously and simply? Done. So yeah.
Yep. And then the second question is, that ties in with it. Is there anyone at the helm of CIG focused on Star Citizen as opposed to Squadron?
I would say that's still Chris, but I would say it's probably going to over time be a lot more Richard Tyra.
Yeah.
Let's play as devil's advocate for a minute. How old's Chris right now?
About 60. I think he's a year older than me. He's either 59, 58, or 60.
He was a millionaire before he even got into this, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Right. What's the retirement age in Australia?
Minimum 60.
Usually they say the average is now 67. But let's be honest, that's got to start to be on the cards, yeah?
Yep.
So when you kind of look at it, we're not invalids, right? So if you have a look at it, he's essentially turning Richard, and we know for a fact, because you and I have been there, they have adjoining offices with a wall that can be taken out.
Yep.
He's training Tyra to be his protege, to take over. That's what's happening. At some point, Chris is going to have to step off. He's too old. He knows it.
Yep.
So he needs someone that's going to take over. So that's what I think's happening.
He'll see his game through, and he'll see his game through. He'll put in the places for the steps that go forward. I think he'll always have that that passionate, and it's a hard thing because I think for Chris, coding and Star
Mm.
Citizen is as much a hobby as a job.
He'll probably come in from
Um,
time to time and check and see how the game's doing. He'll be an advisor and all that, but he's definitely going to start stepping back. That's what we all do as we get to
well,
that age. My
you,
mum retired, and my dad's retired, and you know they're what are they? They're around their 70s now. They've retired, you know. So I think that 60 to 70 is where most people retire. He's just at the start of that, but also being a millionaire, he's got money to burn. So they tend to retire. Let's be honest, they tend to retire sooner, do they not?
yeah, but you know, you look at the things that Chris likes doing. You know, he likes coding. He's always liked coding.
Yeah.
It's the passion thing, and you know, there are times when he'd sit at home when he's relaxing and he'd sit there coding cloth tech or something like that because that's something that he enjoys. And I think that the where, you know, at what point when you're doing something, when your job is something you enjoy, where's that desire to retire? And you know, I'm in the same boat. I'm getting close to that age where people retire. But I love my job, and I'm going, yeah, I don't, you know, all my friends are going, yeah, I'm retiring. I'm going, yeah, I don't want to. I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I, there
Different
is that
strokes for
aspect as
different
well.
folks, but
Yep.
realistically, the point I'm trying to
But
make.
he'll be looking at stepping back.
What would you say? About
Reducing
10 years at
sizing.
most is what I'm trying to say. Do you agree with that
Yep.
statement? He's going to retire
Yep.
by
I would
the time
agree
he's
with that.
70, right? So that's the point I'm
Yep.
trying to say. We are now in that window, is all I'm trying
We're
to
in
say.
that twilight. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't know when that is. You might be right. He might stay there afterwards and just, you know, let Ira kind of take over, and he just drops down into a not a minor
Yep.
position, but a lower, you know, he no longer steers the
Yep.
boat, so to speak. Right? But that's all
Yep.
on the cards, is all I'm trying to say. So
Yep. I would agree with that. Yeah, 1.0 before development. I'd like to see more than 1.0 personally. I'd like to see a dozen systems at least before Chris goes, yep.
Wouldn't it be really cool to see Chris just keep doing Squadron and Richard Tyra moves over and starts doing Star Citizen? See, that's how I would have done it. And then if Chris finds he wants to wind it down, he can like wind it down, you know. But again, he liked doing the movie side of it and telling the story part of it. That's what. Well, I don't know. You tell me if you think I'm wrong, but that's what I've always seen. What Chris enjoys doing. They've all been story games.
Yeah, you look at Squadron, you look at Freelancer. Everything's been story. It's a story game, and you can see that in Squadron as well. It is a story game. You know, so yeah, Chris has always been.
I'm not going to sit here. So someone said Rich is no better than CR. Well, I'm not saying who's better or worse. I'm just saying that appears to be what they're doing, right? I'm not going to sit here and argue with people on that stuff. I'm just saying what appears to be happening, and I don't think we're idiots. That appears to be what's happening, right? I'm just probably stating the obvious, right? Speaking the words out loud.
Yep.
Anyway, next question.
Our next question is, I think it's now Carsten's question.
Can't track shit because of what you've done, but yeah, go ahead.
Carsten's question was, speaking of skins, do you see the Star Kitten? Do you see the Scar Kitten news of the loading screen?
I can probably open that image. Minutes.
What did you see? Rather, do you see?
There's Algared's ugly mug. There it is. All right, this is the load screen. And this. Go over here. Load in. Right, so this is the load screen. Star Kitten.
Like in bottom right corner.
Star Kitten creators delighted fans with new announcement. Grenady Kuso states an exclusive interview that a new show set within the Star Kitten universe is due to debut on the 20th anniversary of the franchise. Okay. Cool. So they're redesigning Star Kitten, have its own logo, maybe? That's what that is? I don't know. That could be a tip of the hat. That's cool.
Yep. It sounds like they're...
Yeah. Could be a nothing burger.
We're redesigning STAR-Kitten to avoid any legal action. Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what it sounds like, but it could be a nothing burger. It could just be fluff.
Yep.
There's the other one there that
It's
says study finds changing hairstyles more frequent. Yeah, fluff.
Well, they were adding more hairstyles to the launcher.
Clearly Algared is not one of those. He's been rocking the same one the whole time. What's that thing you say? He only made so many perfect heads?
God only made so many perfect heads.
Yeah.
And the rest he put hair on. Yep.
Anyway, yeah, I believe it when I see it. I don't know. Nothing burger for me, personally. But
what do you mean? He got a perfect head.
No, I meant the STAR-Kitten stuff.
I know. I was just being facetious.
I know.
Shinobi Trip.
Yep.
I have a question. Disappeared. Where'd it go? There it is. For a new player with no store credit or CCUs, is the Basher a decent LTI token since they no longer offer war bonds under $100?
They no longer offer war bonds. That's not.
No,
that's not true. I got so I brought one for giveaway. Well, maybe it's not a war bond, but they still come with LTI.
I think he's meaning war bond CCUs.
No, because you can use credit instead of real world money. But then for a new person, yes, okay, I can see it for a new person. Yes, I see your argument. But I would still prefer to buy a ship that I actually fucking like. But yeah, I can see your argument. I'm not gonna fight you on that. There's
look,
it's a unique scenario though, isn't it?
If they're looking for an LTI token, I think no. You just wait until the next big sale comes along, and you're going to find a
But what he means is they don't have any credit. But there's no need for them to wait. Just buy the Basher and upgrade into something else because you're going to be spending full cash. So I see his unique scenario, and it's totally fine. But again, yeah, if it's a new person, that's the one exception. If it's a new person,
the problem is a new person is going to be buying a starter pack. They'll have to buy a starter pack.
Yeah.
And so at that point, they've got their ship.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, do you really want them to wait 6 months? Do you know what I mean? So, I'll be honest, I'd probably just buy the cheapest starter pack I could buy to play the game, wait 6 months, then buy a starter pack that has LTI, melt the original one, and then use that to upgrade the second one into the ship that you actually want that's over $100 as an example. That would be how I would do it.
Yep. And I'd use the credits that I'd got from melting my first pack to push me along.
Unfortunately, for new people, they are at a massive disadvantage with how the game is structured. It's just the way of it, and it really sucks because it's almost pushing you to spend over $100 unless you wait till a new ship comes out, but then you can't play the game.
I would hate.
But it's no longer every 12 months. We seem to be getting a starter ship every 6 months now. One at Invictus and one at IAE. So it's the burden's lessened a little bit, but that doesn't leave a lot of real good entry points, does it?
No. I would hate to be a new backer these days, just because I was confused going in, buying ships and stuff.
I'd love to be a new backer. I just buy the one ship and ride on everyone else's. Are you fucking crazy?
Well, okay, in that aspect, in terms of buying ships that you want.
Oh, yeah, confusing as fuck. Yeah.
Confusing is more confusing, but these days you just buy one ship and just join. Offer to be a crewman on the big ships, and you will have, I don't think there'd be a problem. I don't think you'd lack for a crew.
I think someone needs to time out that Citizen Ninja guy. He's saying some profanity in Twitch tab. Let's get on that. He really wrote that? Delulu, this guy. He's smoking the cracky, the wacky weed.
Yeah, he's obviously been drinking. I had read that. I just ignored it.
It was crazy. Anyway,
so
don't repeat it because at least it's crazy. Anyway, keep going.
Shinobi Trip.
Yep.
Had the question. Oh, no, that's the one we just did. Sorry.
You'll have to excuse me, it's getting old. Right, next one, Altzilla.
Altzilla had a question. The Shiv is $150. The Basher is $110. Does any other manufacturer have such a small price gap between their heavy and light fighters?
That's true.
I do not believe so. Which just adds to the point you made earlier that the Basher is
the Basher's going to be
overpriced.
130. The Thumper or whatever the fuck it has to be 130. I don't think that makes sense.
Yep. Fits in the middle. But yes, it's not a small window.
It's not
a big window.
Yeah.
And I'd agree with that. Just more evidence, I think, that the Basher is significantly overpriced. And I get it. They've overpriced it because it's so heavily gunned.
No, I don't think it's because it's heavily gunned. It is. Remember what Ben and John said. The main factor in the way ships sell is the way they look. It's the look. That you're paying extra for the look.
I hope then that doesn't sell. And they realise, oh, that was overpriced.
I bet you any money they sold a shit ton of ships. That's why the Basher is overpriced. Because they went, money! Money.
Yep. Show me the money. Yep.
Yeah.
They went, Shiv is this price? Great, we can do it again. But
maybe we should start a rumour. Like, Ben and John have weekly showers of money. They go into the back office and just go, oh yeah. No, I'm kidding. They're far too dirty to clean with money. Anyway, right.
Would that be laundering money?
Yeah, probably. Well, then they're clearly using the Reliant to do so because that's a tumble dryer. Anyway.
Yep. Okay. Carsten Kroll Christensen says Space Whales in 4.10. Question mark.
Yeah, they're there. I've seen them. They're in 4.10, 4.10.
At the little. Do they have the wild tours at the moment? They can get on a ship and.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get out and actually fly on them, but they're there. But like I can see them.
No, but you'll remember. But the Orison Space Taxi had a come here for the wild tours, and
that's extra work. They're not going to do that.
Okay, maybe.
Priorities,
I live in Hope. I'm chucking some hopium out there.
You live in Cope, yeah, of course you do.
Oh yeah. And we are getting very close to the end of our questions. In fact,
we're only 2 hours in.
We've got two.
We're gonna end early.
We've got two.
That'd be great.
Yep, we're going to end early. Winner will be happy.
Yep.
Also,
the maid will be happy, right? Oh, the hot fix has been deployed to live. Yes, you are correct. I just checked it for you. Yes, the hot fix has gone to live.
Yep.
An update there for people to grab.
Yeah. So Crivitus.
Yep.
Says to us, I would love to see a reclaimer-based home ship from Gray's Market. What larger ship would you like to see from Gray's Market? None.
Well, I think after they do the Mustang one, I think you would naturally then go, well, there's probably a Corsair-sized one there somewhere. You know, like,
yep.
Like it depends what manufacturer they're trying to create, and they're clearly, you've also got to. They don't ever look at the lore, but if you look at the lore of Nyx, they need combat and mining. That's what they need. So at the moment, because they're just flipping squadron assets, they've all got combat. So I would realistically, you know how we've joked about, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to see a hammerhead miner or something like that?
Yep.
Gotta be honest, that shit would sell. It really would. Like a junker miner would sell.
And the only other profession I could see needed in Nyx, because it is a large system, would be refuelers.
Yeah, but I'm going by the law. I'm following their own law, right? So I could see 100 different things in there. Salvage would be one easily, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going, what is Nyx? And Nyx literally says they're fighting the Vandal, they're fighting on two fronts, and there's a lot of mining.
Yep.
That's what Levski does.
And then you look at the big system and you go, yeah, okay, big system, lots of little outposts all over the place. Fact that you're fighting the Vandal, that's got your salvage. Fact that it's big, you need your refuelers.
Chip with a
I
Vandal
wouldn't
integration would probably be a way to go
I wouldn't
to.
see them necessarily being massive on repair because the resources are a lot. That's why you're constantly salvaging stuff. But that's why Grey's Market are using junker ships rather than brand new ships or repairing ships. It's
something like an SRV that tows them back to Levski for Greys to use.
For Grey's Market. Yeah.
So an SRV alternative. Again, you start building the ship around your lore, you get this thicker, meaningful ecosystem. And because they're not following it, but you also get drastic things like what they did to Crusader that we've carried on about for years, right? You essentially had space Mormons and you've made them space combat Mormons, which makes no sense. So, again,
space Peace Corps people.
Yeah.
Turned into space machete wielding.
Well, I call them space Mormons because of the Crusader logo is clearly a hint to the Last Crusade.
Yeah. But yeah, I could see them probably going for a big ship. I could see them going because they seem to be really ripping off Drake. I could see their larger ship being based on the Ironclad.
Oh, you want to go that big? Wow.
Well, they were talking reclaim. The question did say they'd love to see a reclaimer-based home ship.
Well, remember what you and I said about ripping the roof and the floor off that main room, and it all of a sudden looks quite like a vulture. Yeah. What if it was a Drake Ironclad that was modified by Greys and turned into a salvager? Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And even if you open up that room, it gives you a place to, swallow the ships and do more of that. But yeah.
Hammerhead turrets switched over to a miner, that as well as we just in the past.
Yep. Yeah, so I could see those, but yeah.
Yeah. What are the craziest conversions that you could kind of come up with? And as I said, like I think they really, if they don't follow their own law, so this is probably never going to happen. But it would be really cool to see something where it's like, can you imagine like a half Drake, half Vandal ship?
Yep.
Like, it could be really well done.
And the fact that they're fighting, the fact they're fighting the Vandal in Nyx, they're fighting the incursions. There's surely got to be salvage parties getting Drake parts, whether you're not Drake parts, Vandal parts, whether you're getting them to take back to sell to the Navy because the Navy buys them because the Superior want to build more ships for the Navy so they can practice, or whether it's Superior just doing it so they can do their own stuff, or whether it's Grey's Market wanting them to bits and pieces.
I'll make it a lot simpler, Algared. Do you know the Borg?
Yep.
Right? So you know how you kind of got that cyborg look where it's like half organic, half machine? That's what I'm talking. So you can have like the organic parts of the Vandal, right? Because they've got organic components. So if you could make it so it's unarmored in places, right? So you could actually see the skin of the ship with like just these cyborg parts that have been attached by Greys. So it's almost like the ship is alive and they've just like put a new suit of armor on it type of thing. I reckon that would look absolutely mad.
Well, whether it would work or not, I just think using the Vandal parts and the and the UE ships that are around in that area to build your junker ships makes sense. Imagine you when you look at the lore, they're the ships that are around.
Imagine you're walking up underneath a ship, right? And I don't even know how to because they're not going to do this because it'll take too much work, but it would look sick. Imagine you walked up underneath it and you could see underneath its armor or that it's like a rib cage or whatever, and you could see the heart or the lungs, and they're actually.
I remember they did that type of thing. I remember they did that type of thing with the Redeemer, and hated the kind of pulsating, breathing.
No, but
kind
I'm
of
talking like an
ship and rotary
organ,
type.
like a heart or a lung, and you like look at that ship and you go, "This is alive. This ship is an animal." That
Yeah,
would be.
I don't
You
know
see
if
where
it,
I'm going? Like.
yeah,
And,
I don't know if their ships are that alive. I think it's as if they grow the parts to not. They grow the frame,
but
not to get
what happens when you
a
strip?
living, breathing.
What happens when you strip the frame back? That's what I'm saying. What's on
Yeah,
the inside of those Vandal ships? What happens when you take off the armor? What, is it just bones? Is it
I think
organs?
I don't think the ships are alive per se. I think it's like chemically grown shells or things that, yeah.
Well, if you've seen the components in the files, they're like organs.
Yep. Well,
They're very organ-esque. So
hey, what can I say?
if you could look up and you can see that organ moving and I'm just saying it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe that's not where they want to go. I'm just saying sounds cool to me. Everyone's got different things that they find cool though.
Mm-hmm. And that question hasn't come through. I know some Nightbot questions still hasn't come through.
I'll see if I've.
Twitch.
Apparently apparently the sneak peek question is out, but I don't know if I've got the email yet. I'm just having a quick look. If someone wants to send me on Discord, we'll bring it up now to talk about it. That'll give us at least another 5 minutes.
That, by the way, is our last question, the sneak peek one, which is just gives us more fuel to rabbit on about.
I got it though. It's here somewhere. Good things come in colorful packages. So more
crates.
Different crates. Well, it's about time. We've known for years they got different crates. And this won't be the last of it too. If this is just the next one's coming, you've also got all the liquid crates and stuff like that. So because we've seen designs years ago.
What's the caption for this?
Good things come in colorful packages.
Okay.
But you'll even remember back to, what was it, Xeno Threat, where they had the spherical ones inside a box, and they were liquid containers and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot more containers to come. What's it going to look like when you have a container full of animal body parts? Is it going to be refrigerated? What's it going to be like when you have wood in a container? These are the starting things you got to. Here I'm going, right?
And you're going for you certainly want the wood in a container to protect the valuable artifacts. Is
it bundled up in a round bundle, and then inside like one of those boxes like they showed in the missiles? Like there's all these. How are they going to do all that? Again, we don't need them until we need wood, but you can see that there's a need for them eventually. Is my point. All right, pretty uninspired sneak peek. But that's obviously something they're trying to show off, that there's more cargo improvements coming for.
Hopefully they are actual proper loot boxes and different boxes with different things in it, rather than just fluff to decorate.
I think that's fucking obvious.
So
because if you look there, you've essentially got green, red, and yellow and blue.
Yep. And I think that hopefully means, like the grey cat yellow, that would be clearly industry.
Well, there's even some little logos, and this one's got a bullet logo on it. This one says grey cat. So I think that it's a combined thing of not just the color. Oh God, I just realized I don't even have the image up. So
not just the colors.
Yeah, it's not just the colors. It's also labeling on them. Yeah.
Yeah, the coloring, the labeling, and even the size. So you've got the longer cartridges
and a bit of shape there too. I noticed the ammo ones have like a clamp on the front, and then the other red ones over there are completely different again, because they're red on the bottom and black on the top, and they're red on the top and black on the bottom. So, yeah, I expected there to be a lot more than just what's in this image.
And if that's where they're going for in packaging, you can see the advantage of that. That means, you're going salvaging. You can see, that's ammo, that's weapons, that's medical, that's industrial, that's. It makes it quicker and easier for you to find when you're trying to loot. It's easier to find the stuff you're after. So
makes me wonder how far it's going to go too. Are we getting grabby? You remember back when they did grabby hands?
Yep.
Are we eventually being able to put shit in the boxes?
Yeah. That would be huge, to be able to get a box and then stack our boxes with stuff we want, and the boxes being able to, and literally almost like Tetris.
Well, I thought you were going to say it was going to feel like Christmas. Oh, look, I got a new gun.
Yeah. Yep.
Have to wait and see.
But
um,
I don't want the boxes to feel like they're just boxes of holding or bags of holding, to chuck everything in. But for way base, certainly back in grabby hands, you'd put it in it with taking up the space of the box, and depending on how you packed it
we've done previous
change
talks of how they can do different amounts of, how we talked about textures going up and down to show the different heights and the high level textures and stuff like that. And we all through that baked bean, where they did the cooking stream and they showed all the cooking shit, and it showed you the tech they developed with the textures and how you could use that in different areas of the game to do different things. And one of them was really obvious was the amount of cargo that was in a container.
Yep. So lots of things I could do there.
Yep.
And that brings us to the end of our questions.
Right. Well, what to do now? We can end early, or what do you want to do?
Yep. Well, we could end early. We could give us more questions. That'd be good.
I'll have a look on Twitch. Piss poor Pete guy's not streaming. We can't rate him.
That's no good.
Astro and Loken are playing Mech Warrior.
It's no one's birthday, but we are. It's the Bash's birthday, I suppose. But the big birthday bash is. This is our first show of the second millennium. This is our 1001st show.
I just needed a show that rhymed with Basher. I'm thinking of a way to use Basher in the title.
Yeah. Someone in chat saying they wouldn't raid that Pete guy because he's a loser.
Was it Pete that said that? That sounds like something Pete would say. Yeah, I thought.
Pete said that, but
Yeah.
If Pete hadn't said it, I wouldn't have repeated it because I just thought it was rude. But when you're bagging yourself, it's okay.
Oh man, I don't know any of these people. Like it's got to the point where there's an entire like scrolling for like 3 pages of people, and I don't know any of them. Got to that point now.
Just right said Bite Size is streaming. I don't know who Bite Size is.
Oh, I know who Bite Size Hobbit is. All right.
Search for Bite Size Hobbit.
Search for Bite. Can I see them?
Okay.
No, I am blind. No, well, they're definitely there. I just can't see it. I'm blind. Where is it?
Right.
Where was? Yeah, I can't find a channel. I literally can't find it. Oh dear. Have a look here. Someone. I like to go like go down, like raid some below us and bring them up. There's only the names that I know there is like Cobra. Can someone link me actual Bite Size Hobbit's channel? Is that what manual? Right. Hobbit there. She's even dressed like a hobbit.
Well, it looks like they're on Lord of the Rings stuff because they've got a lot of rings. That could be normal.
Well, if you know Sigelian, this is Sigelian's girlfriend. Right into there. Thank you for joining us. Short stream. They're gonna be short while we're in this whole period. It's just how it is, and I'm cool with that. As long as you guys are cool with that, fine. We got a month and a half to go. We're on the other side, Algared. So you'll start seeing in about a month's time. I think we'll see the ship showdown stuff kick off, and the Foundation Festival at the end of the month. So August won't be as bad as July. So probably got about 2 more weeks of this shit that's really going to drag. And then. Fine.
It says karma for M80 harassment. I don't understand that.
Something about how the M80 shit or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, well, probably.
All right. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch, and ask her why she's dressed like an old woman that has escaped the nursing home, and we'll listen in.
No, she looks like she's trying to be.
Yeah, I know that, but you're gonna twist it. You don't know comedy. Oh, for fuck's sake! I haven't taught you anything in the all the time we've been doing this. Fucking terrible.
No.
Yeah, you gotta twist it. Make them think you're dumb, and then they overreact. That's how it works. All right. All right, Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch, and I'll slap Algared for you later. All right, bye-bye. And they're off. Let's have a listen.
They are gone.
Lost his fucking mind is what he's done.
Oh, he's talking about you. Obviously, lost his fucking mind.
You're a fight yesterday. Oh.
Gosh.
That's what happened.
That's why he was talking to himself. 07, Inforunners. Daff was over here fucking talking to himself. Great. Every server so far has had some minor issues.
Star Citizen, isn't it? Every server had minor issues.
What's up, Daft?
Oh.
Thank you for the shout out to Inforunners. Why don't you do the real shout? Oh, you did do the real shout out. Okay. All right.
Spell asylum.
The cat.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you spell asylum?
What did we discuss on Inforunners tonight?
YS.
Was it how
Hey Google, how do you spell asylum?
Happy birthday, piss poor Pete.
Oh, Mr. Y.
What color bearded?
If you can hear me, Daft Digit.
Why do you look like an old woman that escaped the insane asylum? Execute. How many hours have you put into this game playing with Daft Digit? Just out of curiosity. How many hours have you actually played in this game with Daft? Yeah. So playing this game with Daft will not only age you, it will drive you fucking insane dealing with him.
There you go. That's not the ring.
Right, there you go.
I feel like she's gonna give me an apple to eat. She's like,
oh yeah.
Why would I feed you? No, if you feed them, they stick around longer. I'm giving you food.
You know the witch in Sleeping Beauty with the apple? Oh my god!
Oh yes. Now it's saying.
Wow.
Now it's saying.
I don't unsee that. The witch with.
I was like, how is it still in the same spot?
The apple.
Red balloon and a turkey balloon. I'm not making a fucking turkey. Why did you guys? What the hell was that?
All right, let me read that and then we'll go.
What the hell is that? Can't unsee the witch with the apple from Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, see, that guy.
Yeah. So, fun fact: Saga's kind of got a thing for sea witches. So, Ursula, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? You know, it's not my fault. It's his type.
What a sick, twisted fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly wicked witch. Clearly a wicked witch. That's a big apple.
That's a big apple.
No wonder Snow White choked.
Oh, I have comments. I'm not gonna say them. I'm gonna keep them in. Phrasing.
All right, we'll love him and leave him with her apple. Alrighty then.
Her apple.
All right, been a short stream this week. Other course, you guys know that. It's just
no.
The lull period, eye of the storm, as we call it. But one part I will leave you with, knowing that July and August ships were swapped, and that there are in the files there are parts of the Stingray. I would say more than likely next month's ship is the Stingray, if I was a betting man. So probably a more interesting ship to look at next month.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful.
And if
I'm living on hope. Yeah.
If you think about it too, it makes more sense, because if you had a better ship land on this month, it would have made more noise. And the basher being when you've got the Foundation Festival and all that around, and there's already a lot of noise there, makes more sense. So while this month comes off as fairly quiet, I think it'll make next month more louder.
Now, scary thought.
Hmm.
The Stingray should be a better ship than the Basher.
Well, what are you expecting? What is it? What's your kind of first thoughts, brain
Well,
type?
it's not a light. Well, the Stingray is not a light fighter, so I'm expecting medium or heavy.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think it's a medium. But
And-
again, looking at the size of it, it could slip into heavy as well.
But the Bash is 110. God help.
Yep, $200. There we go. Well,
Yep.
essentially, look at how they've priced a lot of the other heavy fighters, right? They've just gone. It's $100 per lightness. So two lights makes a medium. A medium's $200. A heavy is 3 lights makes $300. I think that's fucking insane, personally. It should have been 100, 150, 200 in my book.
Yep. I reckon that's more reasonable, but
yeah. But again, they've just priced fighters at the point where they know people that want them. Oh man, there's clearly something in my eye and I'm rubbing the fuck out of it. But yeah, the point I'm trying to get to is the gross over. And I'm going to sit here and that's why we've never encouraged you guys to buy them, because they're overpriced.
Yep.
Maybe that's why they hate us, because we don't encourage what they do in ship sales. But I'm not here for them. I'm here for the community. So I don't know.
So yeah, look, you CCU to the ship you want. Certainly when it's a.
You know, what'd be really funny is if we just kept streaming for like another 45 minutes and this Twitch is just gone. I can't do that. All right.
No, I think I'd be in trouble if I did that.
All right. With that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Thank you everyone the extra mile on the end of the video on Patreon. Especially in these financially tough times.
The last question that came through was B5 guy says, "Are you supposed to be on?"
Oh dear. All right. With that, then he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care. God bless.
See you, citizens.